Long ago, in a dry and forgotten corner of Israel, there lived a widow and her only son. Their home was small, built from clay and stone, and silence filled it where laughter once lived. Her husband had died years earlier, leaving her with memories, a child, and the daily struggle to survive. In those days, the land suffered under a great famine. The rain no longer fell, crops failed, and hunger walked openly through the villages. Each morning the widow woke before dawn, not because she had much to do, but because worry would not allow her sleep. She often watched her son breathe as he slept, silently asking God how long they could go on like this. One evening, she opened her clay jar and saw that only a handful of flour remained. Beside it was a small jug with just a little oil at the bottom. She stared at them for a long time and finally whispered to herself that this would be their last meal. She planned to cook it, feed her son, and then leave the rest to God. She went outside to gather sticks for the fire, her heart heavy with each step. As she bent down, a stranger's voice called out to her. He asked for water, and though water was precious, she agreed. As she turned to go, he asked for bread as well. She stopped and faced him. With a trembling voice, she told him the truth, that she had no bread, only a little flour and oil, and that she was preparing one last meal for herself and her son before death came. The man listened carefully, then spoke calmly, telling her not to be afraid. He asked her to make him a small loaf first and promised her that God would not allow her flour or oil to run out until rain returned to the land. The request made no sense, yet something in his words stirred her spirit. She did not fully understand, but she chose to believe. She went home, poured the flour, added the oil, and prepared the bread, expecting the jar to empty at any moment. But it did not. She served the man first, then returned to the jar. There was still flour. The jug still held oil. That night she and her son ate. The next morning she checked again. Still flour, still oil. Days passed, then weeks. While famine continued around them, the widow's home did not lack. Each time she reached into the jar, there was enough. Fear slowly gave way to gratitude, and hope returned to her heart. But one afternoon, without warning, her son became ill. His breathing weakened, and before she could understand what was happening, he stopped breathing entirely. Grief crushed her. She ran to the man of God, accusing herself, questioning God, and pouring out her pain. The prophet took the boy, carried him upstairs, and prayed with deep desperation. He cried out to God to return the child's life. After a moment that felt endless, the boy breathed again. Life returned to his body. The prophet brought the child back to his mother. She held him tightly, tears streaming down her face, knowing without doubt that God was real, present, and faithful. From that day on, she understood something powerful. Her miracle did not begin when the jar multiplied. It began when she obeyed while afraid. What she placed in God's hands, he sustained. What she trusted him with, he preserved. And so this story reminds us that when we feel empty, God is not absent. When resources seem small, his power is not limited. When we choose faith over fear, even in our weakest moments, God can turn our last into more than enough. If you are holding on to your last strength, your last hope, or your last prayer, remember this. The jar is not empty yet. The oil is not finished, and God is not done with you.